Supposed to be before that. I think that's going. Okay, I want to welcome everybody. November 21st, 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, we need approval of the agenda, and I'd like to start off. We've got a couple of corrections. As you can see, Miss Margie's not here tonight. I was telling everybody it takes one woman to keep 5 or 6 men straight. We're absent that woman, so we're gonna make do. Miss Margie's on vacation, well deserved. I'd like to add a number 7, a GOHS grant, which is Toys for Tots. I do remember this being brought up last week, but it inadvertently got left off the agenda. If we can add that. Jason, you had something you would like the board's permission to add to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Pitts and I and the Inclusive Playground Committee have been working towards an RFP, and we just mistakenly forgot to ask to add permission to go out to issue the RFP to the agenda. So I would ask the board's consideration for adding that to the agenda.
Edit number 8. Is everybody okay with that? So I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Tonight, invocation of pledge, Mr. Ronnie Henson with Sunrise Ministry. Miss Ronnie, we appreciate you tonight.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Always good things to throw out in prayer, amen?
Amen.
Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. Today is the day that the Lord has given each one of us, Lord. We will be glad and we will rejoice in it, Lord. So, Lord, as we call a time out here tonight, Lord, we all take a deep breath, and we're just reminded, Lord, that it's all about you, Lord. We have so much to be thankful for, Lord. I thank you, Lord, that we live in a community, Lord, that they still allow us to open up with prayer. I thank you, Lord, that we live in a great community, Lord, with great people and great churches and great business people. And we can come together even in a meeting like this, Lord. We can roll the red carpet out for you tonight, Lord. So, God, we just thank you, Lord, for all the many blessings, Lord. Thank you for our families, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for healthy children. Thank you, Lord. We can just say thank you, thank you, thank you all night long, Lord. We could remove everything on the agenda tonight, and we could say thank you, and that would not be enough. So, Lord, once again, we thank you for life. We thank you for your Son died on the cross, Lord, so that we may have not just eternal life, but abundant life, Lord. So, God, just in closing, we love you. We bless you tonight. And it's in the name of Jesus that we pray. And everybody say together.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, as always. You ready?
Ready.
Going out running. Tonight, consent agenda and for approval of the minutes. Number 1 is work session, November 7, 2017 at 5 p.m. First Tuesday, November 7, 2017, and we had an executive session also on November 7, 2017. I had an opportunity to look at it, and if so, I need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. No more discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Let me pass that down to Sam. Visitors 3 minutes. We've had Miss Teresa Van Horn, 148 Hidden Lakes Drive, Waterbilly. Miss Van Horn, are you here tonight?
Yes.
Yeah. We say 3 minutes, but I mean, I know it might run over, so don't.
Oh, well, I usually talk a lot, so I was
Okay.
No. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. And it's Teresa Van Horn with an E on the end, and it's Hidden Hills Drive.
Okay.
Okay. And that's off of Highway 57 in Jones County.
Sure.
The reason I'm here is to discuss the delays with the water bills from Highway 49, the Jones County water system. I'm told that the bills usually go out on the 2nd of the month. We may get them around the 5th or the 10th. They're usually due on the 15th. And so I do my billing, my banking online. And so they have to submit a paper check to them. So they usually will get it the day it's due and sometimes the day after. So unless you go to the water department and pay a bill, or unless you pay an extra charge to pay online, then you are late and you have to pay a late fee. I think that there should be options. There should be an option that you could automatically draft it out of your checking account, that you could automatically take it off your credit card. And another thing, I don't think the late fee should apply to senior citizens. The Tri-County has a thing where they will charge you that if a senior is late with their fees, and I say this because my mother-in-law lives next door to me. So had I not kept up with my water bill, and the reason I kept up with it was because back in 2013, they did the same thing. I didn't get a bill the next month, and a lot of people depend on that paper billing, because how many people would not pay their light bill if they didn't get a paper bill in the mail, but I was told then in 2013 that, it's your responsibility to keep up with your own bills, which I think is ludicrous. And my mother-in-law would have never known that her water bill was due this time had we not kept up with it. I was also told that that somebody pushes a button and it goes to a billing system, and that's how the bills get sent out. I was told, because I did call and talk to Teresa Tarpley, and she told me that she called and found out that there was a glitch in the system this time, and not all people didn't receive a bill, just some. But my name was on the list, and she said that she would assure me that there would be no late charges this time, because I think of all those people that don't know. So could we not, why can't those people put a paper bill in the mail and just send it off? Why, is that an extra expense? I don't know. I just know it's a problem. And I think that somebody needed to come forward, because it's always a problem with them coming in, getting the bills on time in order to mail them on time.
Sure. And we encourage citizens to come forward. If there's a problem we need to address, we thank you for coming forward. We really do. Any questions, Ms. Van Horn?
Chairman, I had 2 or 3 complaints like this from my district too that said the same thing. It seems like we got about 17 days between the time they send the bills out and the time you get them. So I don't know if I think we're doing our due diligence on the county side. I think it's our third-party administrator that's some delays, some hiccups in getting the bills out, but it does result in a 5 to 10 days from the time you get it that you've got to pay that bill, less than 10 days at most. And the complaint I got was, if somebody's on vacation, if they don't pay their water bill early, they come back from vacation, it's late. I'd like to ask our county administrator and finance to get with the third-party administrator and see why the turnaround is longer on their end, when you're right, we're pushing a button to say send out the bills, and then that turnaround period is longer than it takes for us to get it back to them for our bills. So I think it's a legitimate complaint, and we need to look into it.
Yeah. Mr. Pitts, you got any?
I agree totally. I really appreciate you bringing to our attention, and that's what we're here for, to hear some concerns from the citizens and try to address it. So now that we know about it, it's our responsibility to take care of it. So please give us 30 days to get it fixed, and then if we're still not satisfied, please come back and let us know what we can do to make the situation better.
Okay.
Sure. Commissioner Robinson or Martin?
I've heard some complaints along the same line, so I think it's a good thing that we're going to look into it.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten one on this one yet, so maybe it's coming. I'm curious, and somebody help me with this one. Is there a reason why we don't bill in-house for the number of people that we currently serve? And the second question is, if we're not billing in-house, is there some significant savings as to why we do it out of house?
Obviously, we need to look into that.
I think there is savings. I know there's other counties that do it similar to our size. If you got a larger county, then the bulk justifies the employee and all that, the employees that it takes to do it, and software it takes to do it.
I got you, but if we're, hitting a button based on her commentary, if Teresa Tarpley, somebody's hitting a button and sending that data out, we hit a button every 2 weeks for payroll. and your checks get out pretty much on time. If not, we'd have a larger group in here talking about checks, right?
Somebody's got to come in and physically sign all those checks, though.
And somebody signing the checks. You're great. So we have a system that works, and I'm sure Tyler probably has a component in there that we paid for. It might be something we can do in-house. And then from an auto bill standpoint, I don't know how that works. I know taxes I can pay online. And that's the only thing I really pay online here. Can you pay a speeding ticket online? Anybody know? You can? All right. Now we know you're speeding. So we can do that. So we have that functionality in the county. So
Let's look into it.
let's look into it and resolve it. And in the interim, I'm going to suggest this. I don't know if you bank with State Bank, Morse Bank, that auto bill pay within the system, I'll probably try and use that just in case for some reason there's some other hiccup.
I mean, you can pay it online, but there's a fee attached to that.
Okay. But I'm talking about directly from our bank. Like if we use the bill pay just to be safe, that might be a mechanism to help. You know, you go into your own bank account and plug it in. And if we had flat billing, it'd probably be pretty easy. Most people, water bills are about the same each month. And your mom's is probably, what, 22, 28 bucks every month without fail?
Probably.
Might be something to look into. But that gives us an opportunity to work ours out too. So thank you for bringing it forward.
Hey, we'll stay here. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for letting us know. Ready? I don't want to move too fast for you.
No.
All right. All right, new business. Approval to go out for bid for a hydro excavator for the water department. Jeffrey Pelkey, you wanted to present this request?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Been sharing with Jason some of the needs of the water department, and this particular piece of equipment is, in my opinion, is very needed because one of the main reasons why we have to contract some of the work out is because I don't have this particular piece of equipment. And what it does, especially in subdivisions like River North, Hampton Lakes, where you have utilities services underground, in order to fix a service leak or a main, trying to get a bucket into the ground without snatching the line or nicking it is literally impossible. And what this unit does, it has and I have a little brochure, you can kind of just pass it around and just kind of take a look at what it is. It's has a pressure device, water pressure device on it, and a suction attachment to it. So you can actually just get right down to the leak without making a big imprint on the person's yard. And it's every time I have a major leak in River North, I have to contract it out. And just with this, it's a pretty simple device. It's not very technical. I think it'd just be a valuable asset to us. You know, I'm asking if we could go out for bid for it.
Jason, you want to elaborate? You've been talking with Jeffrey on this.
I have, and this kind of came up sort of at the very end of the budget process. Yes. I think Jeffrey and I kind of started talking about this, and you'll recall that we budgeted some money in his operating budget to lease a mini excavator, and we've demoed one of those, but in further conversation with Jeffrey, he feels like this would be a more useful piece of equipment, and he's done a lot of research on this, what they cost, and also looked at a potential trade of our large boring machine for one of these units, and we feel like we can get one, including that trade for less than what we have budgeted there for the Mini X, and we feel like this would be more useful for the department. So.
Jeffrey, I guess you've been around this maintenance wise. Is this something that's scary maintenance, or is it? Okay.
No, it's not. It's mainly just has a pressure, it's almost like a pressure cleaner device on it. The suction, it has filters and seals, and it has a Briggs and Stratton motor on it. I mean,
yeah, it's like about 25, 30 horse Briggs and Stratton. All it is.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
This machine would also greatly enhance the safety working around all these other utilities. You got high pressure gas lines, fiber optics, telephone, TV cable.
You feel like this would pretty much eliminate? Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Very familiar with it.
You feel like this would eliminate our need for contractors?
A great deal.
Okay. Jeffrey has a request. Anybody have a motion they would like to?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. We have any more discussion?
Quick question. What are we paying right now, or what did we pay last year for the contractors to do this type of work?
Well, with this particular contractor, even if you don't have him a full day, he gives you a general price.
Gotcha.
So that's why if you see his invoices come through, I usually, in order to make it worth my while, give him as much as I can to fill that day.
And it's all this type of work that this machine would solve. So last year, any idea what we spent, or current year to date?
I'm, gosh, I would say probably around 20,000 maybe.
20,000. Okay.
Give or take a little.
I wouldn't hesitate to say we spent that much this year
Oh.
already. What I've seen come through the check.
But every time that something happens in River North, I have to, because we've had issues of flipping a line, and it's just, you know, when we repair a leak, we want to leave a small footprint as we can, and going back and having to dress up a yard, this will leave a smaller imprint.
Roughly, what's the cost of this piece of machinery?
Well, if we trade in the auger machine, out of pocket would be about 18.4.
As I recall, we budgeted 35 to 36.
Yeah, my line item for equipment is.
All right. And the Mini X is, I think we saw a number somewhere between 70 and 100,000 for a Mini X. Is that right?
55, 60, I would say.
Okay.
Depending on, unless somebody wants air conditioning. I don't see why they need it. I know Chuck's back there laughing, but I don't know why he wants air conditioning.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, have you or anybody in your department worked with one of these before?
We had a demo about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Good. All right.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, this machine too, I mentioned the underground utilities a while ago, but I failed to mention underground power, which is the most dangerous of any of them, and River North is supplied underground power.
Okay. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay. All right, moving on. The FY 2019 FTA Section 5311 grant application and authorizing resolution of 201711-1R. Mr. Resner, is this?
I think this one's me, Mr. Chairman. This is the initial grant application for 5311 grant funding, which is your transit service, where you call and the bus comes and takes you to a doctor's appointment or something along those lines. This is the grant application that will go to the Georgia DOT and the United States Department of Transportation. This program is half funded through the federal government, and then the county picks up the other half. So this will be the grant application for FY19, which will begin in the summer of next year. And so, in working with our transit provider, they've and working with DOT, we have this agreement before you that we just asked for you to authorize the application.
And I need a motion on his.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I don't know. Okay. Number 3, second reading and adoption of ordinance to amend Article 4, Section 2-142 of the Code of Jones County pertaining to purchasing ordinance 201711-10. We're getting our money's worth out of you tonight.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, this is the purchasing ordinance that we've talked about for some period of time now, had a work session on, I believe, and had the first reading at last month's meeting. This will amend our code of ordinances, amend our current purchasing provision there, and just adds thresholds for purchases, discusses what approvals are required, how many quotes or bids that you have to get based on that dollar amount, and the form of those bids or quotes. And so if there are no further questions, I think that's about all I have.
We've had the second reading at this time. I think we can put a vote,
Yes,
a
sir.
motion to approve this.
Yes, and it will take effect 10 days after the day,
Okay.
if it's passed.
All right. I need a motion on,
So moved, Chairman.
we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving forward to number 4, beer wine license for Damon Robinson, Middle Georgia Express, 11210 Eaton Highway, Gray, Georgia, 31032. Attorney Childs, you had opportunity to review this?
Yes, sir, I talked to Margie about it last week, and there's no legal reason to not approve this request, Chairman.
You heard the report from Attorney Childs. We need a motion for approval on this. Here,
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion?
Quick question. You can be out of state and apply for a liquor license without having a residence?
Yes, and we've had several of these before. You have to not have somebody who does live in the county has to sign an agreement to be the agent for, if there's some non-compliance or any sort of issues, there has to be a Jones County person on record. But you can live out of the county, even out of state, and still get the license.
Right, because I noticed the young lady was the local resident, but he's the actual applicant.
Right.
Okay,
That's exactly right.
all right.
Okay. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-1. Ready? Number 5, approval, resolution 201711-2R, appointing a county legislative coordinator, CLC. Mr. Risner, I think this was also yours.
Mr. Chairman, apparently, I was the county legislative coordinator last time around, and I didn't realize that there was something along those lines, but ACCG notified us that we needed to pass a new resolution appointing a county legislative coordinator. And so the resolution you have before you appoints me as our county legislative coordinator, and I'll certainly make every effort to keep the board informed of anything legislative that goes on starting in January and even before. So
Another hat.
yeah.
Another hat. All right. We need a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You can't oppose. You ready? Number 6, budget amendment, Old Matty Wells gym staffing. You handle this one, Matt?
I got this one.
Okay.
So
We're doing good tonight.
at the meeting a couple of weeks ago, we discussed staffing there at the Matty Wells gym, and kind of came up with a game plan there for how much it was going to cost and what the hours were going to be and that type of thing. One thing that I didn't think of, but I was reminded of shortly after the meeting last time, was that we needed to formally do a budget amendment. And so we needed to, and the board needs to vote to actually move the money. What we had talked about was moving it from contingencies, as I recall. And so what you have before you on the desk is just a one-pager that I drew up that shows money coming from contingencies. And also in talking with Levita and Matt after that meeting, with the exception of golf, all of the recreation, Parks and Rec employees are paid out of the Parks and Recreation Administration Department in the budget. And so rather than putting a little bit of the funding in the Matty Wells gym line item and having one employee paid out of two different departments, their preference was to just put all the money in the Parks and Recreation Administration regular employees line item. And so that's what I've tried to reflect here on this. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions, Mr. Resner, on this?
So the net transfer is 11,640.
11,640. That's correct.
Any additional questions from Mr. Resner?
Good.
No, I need a motion.
Was the 32 hours is just an estimate of time since we're part-time and we got to be below 30 hours.
That's right. Yeah.
Any more questions? If none, I need a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 7 was added, GOHS grant, Toys for Tots.
Goody.
How you young ladies
I'll
doing?
let you have this one too now. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
We're
I
actually
apologize.
Thank you.
Because I remember hearing this last week.
It's fine. We won't take but just a few minutes of your time this evening, but we did want to come before you this evening for Operation Early Intervention. I act as the program director in addition to Jones County Family Connection, which is totally separate. But Shannon Johnson is our program coordinator. And we did have a couple of things that we wanted to bring before you this evening just to keep you informed. As you'll recall, Operation Early Intervention has been a part of the county for 18 years now, and we're here to provide services for children in Jones County. The focus of the program is really to encourage positive choices, in children, and that will lead to our productive lives and to a productive community. We do this through a number of different avenues, including mentoring programs, resource referrals, that type of thing. Tonight we wanted to share with you, though, a couple of things that we have going on. First of all, we did receive $6,500 from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety to focus in on teen driver safety. You've got before you a couple of different things that I want to point out, but destructive decisions behind the wheel are what we really wanted to focus on with this money. And you'll see in your packet there that the majority of our crashes were with young drivers, 16 to 24 years old in the first 10 months of this year. We felt like we could make an impact there just through some education and using this money to really enhance what law enforcement and EMA already currently do. We have started a SAD chapter at the high school. And SAD now is not just for students against drug driving, but students against destructive decisions. And that encompasses a lot. That encompasses, it only takes one drink, one text, one second for an accident to happen. So we're going to really focus in on that message and be in front of our students. We're also going to use this money to work with Don Graham and with EMA to enhance the mock crash scene that they do before prom season. So we're really excited about this particular project and many others that we have going on. But we thank you for your support and for all that you do for us in keeping us going.
Thank you for your time.
Turn it over to Shayna for another cool thing that we've got going on.
The other thing we wanted to announce to you guys tonight is our Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots is in its 70th year. This Christmas season is its 70th year. Or for Jones County, this is our first year having a campaign here in Jones County. We were already helping kids at Christmas time, but one of the things about Toys for Tots that really stuck out for us is that everything that's raised in Jones stays in Jones. There are several national campaign supporters and sponsors here in Jones County, but we wanted to capitalize on that and partner with Toys for Tots, the Marine Corps Toys for Tots, and start that campaign here so that all the toys and monies that are raised are able to stay here for our families. So we partnered with several partners, the county being one, and started that campaign so that everything raised could stay here. So we just wanted to take this time and just thank you guys again for helping us with Operation Early Intervention, and then also with Toys for Tots, and we couldn't do it without you guys' support. Did you guys have any questions or anything?
Well, thank you very much. Any questions for this young lady?
Where are drop-off locations? What was that?
all over. We do have a local website that
Okay.
is sponsored by the Toys for Tots. It's gray-ga toysfortots.org. It has all of those drop-off locations. The Chamber of Commerce is the one that's here local. We'll have one at the courthouse, of course. But yeah, there's locations, drop-off locations all over. Several businesses have stepped up and let us, use those as drop-offs. Our actual, where we're collecting the toys, Miss Sherry Rollins has let us use one of her empty businesses right beside Pizza Hut. They used to be the old Verizon building. That's where we'll be distributing the toys.
Cool.
Couple questions for Joy. Really curious about the SAD chapter component and the driving. We just had a study, economic development class, and they looked at, especially in North Carolina, the ages, 16 to 24 target group. What were the causes? And most of them were, of course, late night driving and then texting.
Right.
And I was curious, do we have that data locally? And
We do, and a lot of that goes back to, and it's very interesting that is not, the majority of those are non-collisions with another motor vehicle. So that tells you that a lot of it is texting, driving, distracted driving, and that type of thing. It's and the majority of it is during the daytime hours, not nighttime.
Interesting. And the reason why I ask is the other thing that they imposed were, of course, restrictions, and none of the kids, and I know when I was a kid, I didn't want it. But then they also had devices now, even as a school teacher, they sell those devices where you can jam cell phone signals inside of the car. And if there is an opportunity within the grant to fund some of those things, it might be an opportunity to spread those across the community. I don't know what that cost is. I don't know if it even makes sense, but any child that we can save from getting hurt or causing damage to other people's property or other lives makes sense. They had curfews and all that other stuff, but it sounds like that's not the issue. So the devices might be cool.
Yes, absolutely. And this is our first year. That was not something that we wrote into the grant for this cycle, but it's something we will look at in the future.
And I would ask, consider the Sheriff's Department, because obviously if they have any of those resources,
absolutely,
might be worthwhile.
We're partnering up with them as well. So
very good. Awesome. Thank you.
One final thing to let you know, we will host the Family Treatment Court graduation December the 4th at 2 o'clock at the W. Knox Center. This is a treatment process that a number of individuals can select to be a part of. They have to be chosen, but they have to meet the requirements through the court system. And it's not just drug rehabilitation, but a lifestyle rehabilitation. So there's a huge family component there. It's 18 to 24 months that our graduates, must complete. And this cycle, we have 8 graduates, 6 of whom are from Jones County. So we're very excited about that, and we really wanted to highlight that. So we would love to invite you to that. December the 4th, 2 o'clock at the W. Knox Center.
Now, are they rotating that? Because I did go to Baldwin County. Okay, good.
Yes. Since we had more graduates this time.
We invited them to have it in Jones.
Good job.
Okay. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ready? Moving forward, we added the number 8. Mr. Pitts, it was on your inclusive playground request on the.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. A couple weeks ago, the committee met, and the committee members had an opportunity to send in a list of the items they would like to see in our inclusive playground. And from there, we're making this request for proposal to send out to at least 4 to 6 different vendors to find out what can they provide for us within that price range of $140,000. Once we get the proposal back, the committee will review those proposals, make some tweaks, make some changes, and hopefully come January, we'll make a recommendation to the board to approve a proposal, and hopefully maybe start construction in February on this inclusive playground.
Okay. Commissioner Pitts has a vote to approve go out for your RFP.
All right, yes, sir. I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the RFP for the inclusive playground.
And we have a motion. We have a second. Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Commissioner Pitts. Old business priority road list. Station advised me that he wasn't ready for that at this time, so we're going to strike.
I did.
Uh-oh. I knew I should have asked you if you were ready. Mr. Thompson. You're fine. You're fine. You're on probation, but you're all fine. As a clerk, you're on probation. You stuck with us as administrator, so don't. Old business priority list, Mr. Risner asked that we strike that. He wasn't quite ready at this time. We'll move on to department heads if we may. Mr. You want to start, Don?
Yes, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see you guys. I'm here tonight to set the record straight. Since the inception of our campaign of photography donation, since 1983, Jones County EMA has participated in this campaign to raise money to help out with the EMA department and the fire department and the rescue, of course. We've done business with 3 different companies since then. Actually, it's the same company, but it has changed hands from the first fellow passed away in the late 80s, and then I think one of the daughters had taken over, and then now another fellow has taken over. But throughout the years since '83, we have done this in the fall campaign for it's what we call the I guess a photo donation, where we hire a company to oversee representatives that go door to door asking for donations for rescue, fire department, or EMA. And the company that we had chose this year was Dale Martin, which is Excalibur Central LLC, out of Macon, Georgia. This company and its employees are 100% bonded, and they are insured, and they're registered through the state of Georgia and the Secretary of State. I've given all the paperwork to Mr. Risner, and I've actually gave him every bit of my paperwork for the last 5 years. I think that there was a request for some information yesterday. So I actually gave 5 years worth. And that's from every expenditures that we have had to all of the intake. But what I want to do is explain to you how this system works and how it benefits the EMA and the fire department. I was notified sometime this weekend that there was a misled information on Facebook. So I was out of town, and I looked on the Facebook page, and someone had put something in there that was not 100% correct. So I answered back. I actually notified you. You had told me to answer back, and I answered back the way that the best I could, without going into anything. But how this works is, keep in mind, $40 is what these representatives go to door and ask for $40. Now, people have been misled about 50%. 50%. Anything that is taken in by any of these representatives, they get 50% of the first $40. Now, 30% of the folks usually give $40, so the company will get $20 out of that $40. Okay, $20 comes. Let me say something about everything that comes in off the street comes straight to the office. We deposit it at the local bank here, and we write a check out to the company that's got the representatives, Excalibur. They get $20 per, no matter what it is, unless it's less than $40. Some people have given $5, so they get $2.50. But $40 is the magic number. Last week we had $1,000 that was given. The company gives $20. We've had several $100s, $200, $300 last week, $500. There was a lady last year gave $2,000, and then I think again she gave $1,000 this year. With that, the company gets $20 each time that occurs. out of that, what that $20 pays for the company is, I'm sure there's an administrative fee, but they've got to hire the people to go door to door, which I don't know what they make. I've never seen them before. I've seen the first one for the first time. This fellow by the name of Joe. And he introduced himself, a clean cut guy. They have to provide their car. They have to drive to the site. I don't know where these people live. They have to provide their own insurance and gas. And then you've got to, with that $20 fee, you got to hire a professional photographer that comes out of Alabama. I start receiving calls in the summertime, people waiting to do their donations so they can have their pictures made for Christmas. It's always a Christmas scenery is what they offer. And now it's done got high class and stuff like that. They can put any background you want in there. You and I were at a funeral today, and 3 of those pictures that were at the funeral home were the pictures that were taken here at the EMA. He was a giver. Mm-hmm. But I give to this every year, $75 to $100, whatever I can afford. I don't want any pictures. A lot of people don't want the pictures. I think they want to give to the EMA, and I think that the message that was out there on Facebook was distorted enough to give people the idea that that company got 50% of everything. That is not true at all. Not true. $40 is the magic number. They get $20 for that $40. Anything above that comes straight to the EMA. It says on the paperwork what they get. Now, since then, since this and all that was on the Facebook and all the garbage that was out there, I have suspended the donations for this year. And I think that it's probably going to be tarnished enough that they probably won't ever come back. The company is already in Peach County as I speak, already working, knocking on doors. I just want to tell you some of the things that we've purchased since I've been here. Uniforms for every volunteer. That's a couple t-shirts, a uniform shirt, uniform pants, and we buy that for each for every year because they don't last far when they go in the fires. Rescue equipment to sustain all of our rescue equipment, all of our supplies, our training aids, books. Our Firefighter 1 book is $100, between $100 and $110 now that they've added another chapter to it. Thermal imagers. We had 2 thermal imagers when I came here 9 years ago. Every unit we have now has thermal imagers. And that helped purchase every one of these. Rescue 6, Upper River Road. I bought a whole complete rescue unit. It was used, but it works fine. It's got a Hurst 2 on it, and it's in service today, and it serves River North area and that whole area there. Accountability maker, which is our IDs. Accountability when you're on the scene, which actually we had done this for the city too. We allowed them to use our accountability tags, so we're all on the same page. Portable radios. The old system, when the system was going down and it was failing us, there was no use to buy anything that was expensive. Our portable radios, we knew that we were going to get something new. We knew that we bought our portables for $200 a piece and crossed our fingers that they would work out. This was all bought with the money that was raised from these portraits. Pagers, our old pagers system, the old paging, beep, beep, beep. Every one of our pagers were purchased with this program. Of course, it's outdated now. We don't have to. awards, service awards. What better way to give back to our people that's got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, 35, and we hit one milestone this year, 40 years. Purchase, not certificates, but plaques and stuff like that for our recipients. I could keep going on and keep on board. We can go right through that bank book and look at everything that we've bought, and everything has been legitimate. If it's got my signature on it, it's legit, and I won't accept anything but. One other thing that we have sustained, and that's our smoke alarm, our smoke detector program. Now, we matched with the volunteers funds and the donations from the picture fund last year. We matched Tri-County. Tri-County gave us a grant for, I think, $3,000 to buy smoke alarms. I turned around, met with our house captains, and we vote on things that we buy, okay? It's not all Don Graham's idea. We want to sustain our smoke alarm program. So we bought $3,000 worth more. So we ended up with $6,000 worth of smoke detectors. We're still giving those out today. I don't know whether we'll do this again. I don't know. It's furnished. And I hope I haven't missed anything. I don't know why that I'm not good about saying names, but I don't know how in the world that the city of Gray and the county has come to blows like this when it's easy to pick up the phone and say, Don, this is going on. It's not healthy.
Don, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
How much is us losing this fundraiser gonna cost us?
This year,
Yeah.
$9,000.
That's, I mean, so what you've collected now, you'll end up keeping?
Yes, sir. We're gonna keep it. We've got to serve the people that want the pictures.
Sure.
We're having every weekend till the third week, I think, just right before Christmas is when it shuts off. And then we may have to have another one, but we serve everybody that wants one.
Sure.
Everybody will be notified by phone of the dates, and they make appointments, and we do it all weekend long. We're set up in our kitchen right now to take pictures.
Sure.
Until we finish. But everybody that has given, and we've already made $14,000, but we stand to, as tonight, and well, I can, the last 5 years, I'll tell you exactly what we've made.
Well, I'm doing the math now, so you're over 20,000, what we get over this program.
Right, yes, sir.
So we're gonna lose over 20,000 a year because of
Yes, sir, yeah, that's correct.
Whoa.
2012, 22,260, 13, 23, 316, 2014, 22,687, 2015, 24,087, last year, 2016, 23,228. Now, there's change in there too, but I just kept it simple. It's well documented for whoever called and wanted the records, and the records are very accurate. They're by the bank. I've got a copy of every check.
Let me start on our left and work to our right, because I know everybody wants to.
Go ahead.
You want to start off?
I'm gonna reserve my comments to the end, Tim, if you don't mind.
Okay, Commissioner.
Yeah,
Pitts?
so the question I had was, Don, so that 20 plus, I mean, that's after all expenses. We keep, well, the EMS, they keep $20,000 plus for expenses and everything else that you need for the fire department.
This is what we collect every year, is what I just.
Right, so that's what you collect. I'm saying, once you take out expenses, are you still profiting about $20,000, or is it less than that 20?
When you say expense.
So for an example, they're getting 50% or $20. So Excalibur.
50% of every $40.
Right. So for an example of that 23,000, does Excalibur Excalibur to get any of that, or that's already been taken out?
This is what we.
That's what you bring. Okay, that's what I was asking. What did
That's
you?
our net.
Right, our net. Yeah.
They have to report, since they're bonded with the Secretary of State, they have to say what they've made and what we've made.
Okay.
And it's gotta be accurate.
Right. So you're making over 20,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
That's,
we're gonna lose 9,000 this year on your budget, and possibly, well, as you say, it's been tarnished, so we're gonna lose over 20,000 of your budget next year, when we're already fighting hard enough to keep everybody in,
Monroe County, Pike County, Lamar, East Dublin, Sparta, Hancock County, Upson, Toombs, Baldwin, Twiggs, Peach, Houston, Crawford, has done this year already.
Commissioner Robinson?
Don, I would highly encourage you to keep the program going. I think giving in to the jealousy and the sniping that goes on Facebook, that's done by some very immature people that are craving attention. And the affiliation is strong with the city of Gray, and the mayor-elect is here, and I hope he takes note of all this. Please, sir.
The money doesn't concern me as much as the poison between the county and the city. When we're talking about public service, we do the very same thing. And I don't know what in the world that I've ever done to anybody. It was here when I arrived, and I never could understand it. Maybe our mayor-elect kid, he was here 20 years ago doing the same thing, and it was here then. It's been a tough road. The board's been tough, but it ain't as tough as being in the street and working with people that doesn't have your back. I'm not real sure why this is occurring, and I'm the EMA director for the city, and this is what I get.
Mr. Chairman, it's not like this is the first time something like this has come up. There's a history with the same people, and a history of some in the city saying they had no idea it was going on, and it seems like nothing's been done about any of it. But this is taking a major toll on the volunteers, some of them who are in the audience tonight. For the life of me, I can't understand anybody that would resort to just putting gossip on Facebook. I mean, this has been going on since '83, and anybody associated with any kind of fire department in Jones County knows about these fundraisers. It's not like being scared to death when somebody knocks on the door. This was known about all along. It's just an attempt to dislodge the working between the city and county, and in my opinion, it's all because of jealousy.
Commissioner Martin?
I don't know exactly what happened, but I remember being tagged in it, and I know I responded, and my request was for you to come in and shed some light. And I even asked Larry, Childs to chime in, and I know I asked, and I think I named everybody in it as well, to chime in on the history, because this is my first time hearing about it. And I also wanted that individual to come to kind of share, because if it was a company doing it, if it's legitimate, no issue, no concern. And then I saw all the other stuff that happened afterwards. So there's some other challenges. I'm surprised, to be honest, because again, I didn't know this was such an integral part of your budget. Because during budget hearings, I don't think I've ever heard of the donation component piece with this organization. And I can honestly tell you that I'm happy to hear that it is legitimate, because when you read stuff on Facebook, you don't know what's what, and you try and check the source. But recognizing that Facebook is what it is. It's people that have some comments. I'm glad you came here and shed some light on it. I think the long-term implications of it will ripple across the county and the city, and I think people who kind of throw stuff out there that is erroneous will have to account for that at some point. I agree. I don't think you should stop. the reality is there's a small segment of people that listen to or read what happens on Facebook. I think that for the most part, most people don't even know and don't entertain. If they're not soiled and the history is there back to 83 and they're legitimate, as you say, and obviously we heard the numbers, then they ought to be able to continue to do what they've been doing. And the people who are loyal to EMA will see through all of this and continue to make the proper donations. So that's my spiel on it.
After looking at all the comments and shares on Facebook, I think this year's over for this fundraiser.
I agree.
Going forward, maybe we can get with Jones County News. Maybe we can get the county's social media page up, informing everybody of the upcoming drive for donation, so that we can bring it to attention, so we can nip it in the bud, so nobody has an opportunity to.
Usually I do people speak, and I ended up it got started before. I always do an article, people speak, to let them know that everybody's out. This is the first year that I didn't do it. I was hospitalized. I didn't get it in time. They had already started it, but I didn't get a chance. I do want to say this too, that every person that is out in the field knocking on the doors, the sheriff's office has their photos, their background, the picture of their vehicle, their tag number. I'm missing something else, I'm sure I am. But that's always given to the sheriff before they hit the street. They get several calls saying, there's a suspicious person in our neighborhood, and they say, is it a red car with the tag number such and such, such and such? Yes, how do you know that? They're okay, they're legit. So he got it this year, the sheriff did, but I just didn't get it in the paper. And that is my fault, and I take responsibility for that.
But like I said, this year, I agree with you. I think this year is over. I
think it's over this year.
Mr. Chairman, one more thing I'd like to add. I don't think the motives of these few individuals are the motives of the city of Gray. I don't believe that. But the city of Gray should do something about these instances that keep coming up.
Well, it's hurt both the city and the county.
Terribly.
Both the city and the county. And like I said, it's hurt us all. Everybody in this room is hurt.
The outcome they may have wanted to stop the fundraising. And if that's what they wanted, they succeeded.
But I want to make this clear that I don't hold any grudges, and I will not, and I'll continue to work with the city and continue to run calls in the city and continue to be a part of their program just as much as my program here. We're not perfect. None of us are not perfect, but I don't want to hold grudges either.
Thank you, Don. He wants to reserve his to the. Okay.
I'm ready now.
Oh, you're ready now? You got to make up your mind. You said you want to reserve.
I want to come around to me again.
You said you want.
I just wanted to be able to officially blame Commissioner Martin for tagging me in it and dragging me into it too. And so, but I do have to admit that when I first saw the Facebook post, and I've had them come to my door, and I assumed, like probably most people, that it was a Jones County Fire Department employee. So I had some reservations, I had some questions, and I think I commented a couple of times, I'd like to find out more information before I pass judgment on this. And so I called Don this morning and met with Jason and got all the information that he passed out. And I am 100% committed that this is a good program, it's a viable program, it's a legitimate program. Could we have done a better job? And I say we, all of us, could have done a better job promoting this so that the public knows that. I don't think anybody assumes that whether it's March of Dimes, United Way, or whatever, assumes that every dollar you give to them goes to that program. There are incidentals and admin costs associated with that. So I don't think that's so much the issue as we probably should have done a better campaign. And I hope, agreeing with what the chairman says, that next year we can make this bigger and better and promote this internally and through our media sources to to let people know that this is a good program, what it benefits. You know, Commissioner Martin's right. Facebook is what it is, and it can be a good thing or it can be blown all out of proportion. I'm disappointed that this one got blown out of proportion. Some of the comments were very negative on that post, and you know, but that's just, it is what it is. We can't look back on that. I hope we can look forward and make this better next year, and I hope that we do our part in doing that, because again, it is a viable program, and right now we've all got mud on our face, the city, county, and everybody else, and our residents are looking at us like we may have done something wrong, but the people that are hurt the most are the ones that we're trying to get money for, and that's the people that volunteer their times and their lives every day, and all this money benefits them. I've seen the bank accounts, and they are legitimate, and they are a benefit to this county. So I hope that we can resurrect this next year and do a better job at promoting it to the public.
Mr. Chairman, if possible, legitimate bank accounts, donate button. If there is no formal group on the ground, at least there's still an opportunity for people to click on the page, donate here, and the funds go where they need to go. So if we can do that relatively quickly, I think we can do some damage control and still get the EMA what they need.
Do you have that capability done? Okay.
I don't think of my thumbs on here, but I don't know how to do that, but I can get with,
Good Will.
Will is the man to see.
Yeah.
And boss. So he knows how to do things like that.
And I know, excuse me, Don, Commissioner Martin, I know you think I'm probably an old dinosaur, but you can still write a check and mail it in, I think. I just want to make sure.
Honestly, we get those.
I thought you could still write a check.
The secretary's in the back. How often do we get checks in when it's off season?
Pretty good. I mean, on different occasions, we could,
You get a.
For people like me, you don't do it online, write a check.
Amen.
The thing is we don't come into River North because it's a gated community, so we're very conscientious where we go to, because we know that it's a gated community. That's exactly what it's for.
I still don't do it on computer, Don. Right.
So set it up and then also give the address so they can send their money in.
Before I do anything, I'll let you guys know.
We appreciate you, Don.
And Mr. Chairman.
Let me say one more thing, Mr. Chairman, if I may. When this request, the open records request hit up here yesterday, and I got a call about it because it was just something that was unusual. And I said, of course, it's subject to the Open Records Act. The county's names on it, and Don had everything that was asked for, as I understand it, before the sun went down. I think
I did, yes, sir. Everything's all the way back to '83.
Everything's
so.
there. If anybody wants to look at the account, it's open records. Nothing secret at all. And Don, just remember a lot of people that don't even like Santa Claus. So you can't please everybody.
So, Mr. Chairman.
I know that a lot of people probably didn't get to hear my voice on the air, but I'm hoping that people that are watching have gotten the message, because my mic wasn't on, so I'm sorry about that. So.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I would ask that if Debbie doesn't mind, that as she does the report on this, that she will state that the Board of Commissioners are in full support of this fundraising effort, and let them know that they still can. If they can't do it online, then please call Don Graham and give them the address as of how to make a donation, because I know over 10,000 people receive the Jones County newspaper, and that's 10,000 people that's going to see it, that's going to read it, and hopefully they'll make a donation. So as well as possibly put it on the Facebook page. And I think it's okay with Jason, if you'll agree as well as the board, that the Board of Commissioners support this fundraiser. And if you would like to make a donation, then it's not too late. We have decided to cancel it at this time, but as you can still make a donation to the Jones County Fire Department EMS system.
I'm glad to know we're still getting our pictures, because I got $40 in them.
Yeah, we set up.
My last picture I had, I didn't have gray in it, so I was going to see what I look like with gray.
And can we authorize him to set up GoFundMe and all that other stuff? So when he hooks up, not you, okay, but Matt, so at least that way all of those things are available, those tools, so people can actually give, no matter how, if they want to write a check or however, so he's empowered to do it. Can we do that by consensus? Is that okay?
Yeah.
He's pretty much saying he doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't have to. Sorry,
No, it's,
Don.
Don't overload his budget.
this is, yeah, it's an overload
We don't want
to
start
make
seeing
things
right here.
very, very, to keep it in order. There's a lot of people, there's 30,000 folks in our county, so.
All right, we'll let Matt
Thank
figure that
y'all.
out.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Put that on the county
Mr.
administrator.
Pelkey?
Yeah.
His list is getting shorter.
I just have two short things, and I just I know John Lowe's not here, but I just wanted to publicly just go on record to thank him and his department. They've been wonderful to us, and as you know, we've been clearing the Whitaker sewer flume, and they've been offering equipment, and of course, Chuck's been clearing it for us, and I know he's not here, but I just want to go on record and just say how much we appreciate their help. And secondly, I know, as you know, the Gray Highway project is coming to a close. That's that section of work, and I've been asked, what are we going to do with some of that leftover inventory that's out there? And I asked him if he would come forward and just try to give us some guidance on what we may be able to do with that.
We're finishing the Highway 22 to Haddock project. We were 17,600 under budget on labor. Right. And then Gray Highway, we were about $16,000 under budget on labor. We're going to take a few days and run some detail on the material costs to make sure we were good there. But it looks like if the board is interested in extending some water while we have a contractor here, you've got about 33.6, 33.7 to work with. Bacterial test came back today on Gray Highway. They all passed. Pressure test passed just today. Once we get some dressing up done next week, we'll be done. So
great news.
So I know I saw a pile of pipe left out there. It looked like 60 joints, about what, 1,200 feet?
Yes.
So we could. My idea, my question I'd ask is, we've already got money designated, and we're going. Our next, I would think, venture would go Sand Creek, if I look at the plans correctly, and we've got money left over and material sitting. Why wouldn't we go ahead and utilize those funds and that material, and at least go as far as we can with materials up Sand Creek?
I think we need to, Mr. Chairman.
Can we get a consensus on that, Chairman, and add it to the next agenda, since it's not on there to vote on, and ratify it at the next agenda?
Sure. All right, you can bring us back some numbers and see exactly how far we can go. Was there any material? Well, it's a different side of material in Haddock, wasn't it?
It was, and a lot of that was on hand.
Sure.
So.
And if there's an alternate, in terms of whatever else is available, let's consider that as well. If the construction account has some dollars, if it's not pre-allocated, is that up for consideration, or we need to leave that alone?
I would tell you is leave it alone until we get what we need from Masseyville.
Fair enough.
All right. We'll see you next meeting.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Department head, you next.
I think I've probably talked enough tonight, so I don't think I have anything else.
So we're not talking to clerk or administrator at this point.
Right.
All right. Well, you're doing a good job at both.
Thank you.
Attorney Childs, you quiet tonight?
Well, I don't have anything to say.
Good deal. All right, we're gonna move on.
I got something to say.
You got something to say?
That's
Where
right,
were you
Department.
hiding at? How did you hide?
I should have saved my side for this one.
You'd be surprised how small a tree I can get behind.
Right.
Anita Skinner, would you come up here, please? I'm gonna put her on the spot. Jason knows what I'm talking about. We've been well involved in this in a couple of days now. If anybody don't know, I'm sure you do. This is Anita Skinner.
Turn around.
Smile. Smile.
I wrote smile. I know you didn't. That's why I did it. So, good news. I hope. Let's hope this works out good. Because it's to throw us all under the bus. Anita called me Sunday night.
she went by the new shelter, I guess Sunday. On her way home, stopped and just looked at everything, took a few pictures, put it on Facebook. I know that scares me too sometimes. But she put it on Facebook saying the building's coming along good, everything looks good. And a friend of hers saw the post and called her and said, hey, my husband works for a company that manufactures a certain type of cement, and they're changing their product line, and they have thousands of bags of cement that they have to get rid of. Can y'all use them? Of course, Anita was like, well, so she calls me. We get to going and talk to the guy this morning. They delivered 2,100 bags of cement to us today, free delivery out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Wow.
And told me today that if we need more, he's got another warehouse in Pennsylvania that he can bring it out of there too. And
For free.
For free.
Wow.
Shipping's
Thank
free,
you.
For free.
cement's
Thank
free. So
Did you pre-order all of it?
But so I just wanted to thank Anita publicly, because that's.
Well, Facebook does do a lot of good things, and I will tell you that next year when you do this fundraiser, it will be better than what it has been in the past, because that's the way it works.
But estimated price with shipping and cement and everything, we're looking at probably close to $100,000
Oh,
worth
man.
of just donated material and service.
John, tell them what you can use it for.
What we're going to try to use it for is the parking lot. We've got enough to do right now, probably a third of the parking lot, and talking to the man, we should hopefully get close to the rest of it. It's actually a specially manufactured cement that's way yonder stronger than regular cement. So it's a super deal. So I just wanted to thank Anita publicly. That's all.
Thank you, Anita.
It's always nice to hear good news.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Did I miss any other department heads in here? I can't see how John Jackson ever hid behind a little tree.
Low and slow, bro.
Low and slow. All right. We have no citizens signed in. We're going to move over to commissioner comments. Who'd like to start tonight? Commissioner Martin?
We didn't have anybody signed in.
We haven't got anybody signed in. Well, it's got to be on agenda. We've got citizens comments coming up next. We got commissioners comments at this time.
Real quickly, just happy Thanksgiving to the employees. You guys have made life grand. It's been a good year thus far. Saddened by the events of the weekend, but optimistic that we'll find a better solution. One that will yield some good results. So hopefully Matt will be able to implement some technology pretty quickly. We just voted on another beer and wine license. There's a lot of that happening in the county. Some of it is just repeat over and over again. I'm at a point also where we looked at this some time ago about it coming on the ballot, and I would ask Frank and the board, with the next election that's coming up, let's look at putting it there so the people have a right to vote on it and exercise it, so we can pour and sell in the county and get some of that additional revenue. We've been talking about it, and there was an effort afoot years ago by the Plan Group and I think some other folks to help it move along. But I think we need to take advantage of the next election cycle to get it on the ballot. Revenue is tight, and there's an opportunity. Beyond that, it's been quiet, so let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Robinson.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank Don for his continued professionalism and staying on top of his game and always having his ducks in a row. And he represents the county very well, and he is also the president of the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. So I'm proud of him and all the volunteers. So that's all I got.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Pitt?
Mr. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and just thank you guys for coming out, and please continue to share your ideas of ways we can do things better in the county. That's it, Michelle.
You want to go again, Commissioner Kitchen?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think coming into this gig, you and I were told a lot of times that the city and county wouldn't work together in past.
We're gonna prove them wrong.
We're gonna prove them wrong. I am absolutely committed to building relationships with the city, regardless of who doesn't want to be on the team or who does want to be on the team. I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're not part of the solution, you need to be, whoever it is, whether it's elected, whether it's department heads, whether it's employees, or whether it's the public. We are a better team if we work together with the city and the county, any way you look at it. So I am 100% committed. With that, thank you again to Anita. People don't realize how much she does every day. She deals with dogs and cats and people, you know, and putting them together. So everybody knows her and everybody knows what she does, but we can't thank her enough. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody here, all our employees. And last but not least, today's the chairman's birthday, so y'all tell him how old he is.
All right. Happy birthday, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm 56,
right.
but as I told Commissioner Kitchens, he better hope he looks as good when he gets to be my age. So
I will.
You will. I know shapes, round's a shape, so we're gonna keep it at that.
That's exactly right.
But I do wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. We thank the volunteers for everything y'all do. You're priceless. I mean, what y'all do for this community is just something we can't thank you enough. Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving. We're gonna move on. We got citizens' comments. Or somebody, like young lady in the back, was asking to come forward. Oh, we've never had a newborn do a comment. Wow. Are we name and address for the records?
Okay.
Our clerk's a little slow, so.
All right. My name is Sarah Wood, and my address is 185 Hungerford Road. And this is Olivia.
Olivia.
And the reason why I wanted to speak to you tonight, because I've heard a lot of you talk about the Facebook post, and it's kind of like the emperor with his new clothes, if you've ever read that story. I mean, everybody sees the elephant, but I mean the emperor, but doesn't call it out. I was laying in bed on Saturday. I had been in the hospital with a rotator cuff surgery right after I had a baby. There was a loud, extremely loud banging on the door, and the person screamed, "Jones County Fire Department." The kids and I, we thought there was a fire. We thought there was an emergency. Now, all of this talk has talked about money and all that. I believe in raising money. I'll get out there and do whatever I need to do to raise money. But when somebody identifies themselves as a member of public safety, whether it be police or fire, I have a problem with that. And that hasn't been addressed with anybody. This company comes and they bang on your door acting like they are a member of the fire department. And it sounds like more of an emergency. And in the Facebook post, if you read them, you saw where the guy from the company said, well, if I didn't do that, people wouldn't come to the door. And like I said before, I don't have a problem with folks raising money. This had nothing to do with city-county issues at all. This started because my husband put a post on there because I got cranked up about some guy knocking on my door claiming to be somebody who he was not. I would like to see y'all address that issue. It's not about the money. And as the Facebook post went on, you know, there was questions about the money, because if the man said he was a member of the fire department and he wasn't, what other lies were there? And I know all of y'all are on the bandwagon of let's raise money for EMA and let's let city and county work together. Those are all great things, but at the end of the day, somebody shouldn't be knocking on anyone's door in Jones County saying that they're a member of the fire department, they're a sheriff's deputy, or a police officer without them being legit. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
you want to make?
Please.
Yes.
So I would ask, so Don, as you do talk to Excalibur, that you do make sure that you bring to their attention that, I mean, if you're going to knock on doors, be professional, be considerate. of people, because you can easily scare someone. And please do not misidentify yourselves, because that's fraud. So just
I agree 100%. Ms. Wood, I'm very sorry that happened. I had no control over that, but I am responsible for it. I'm very sorry for that. But there was other statements in there that about our spending.
Right, no, I'm just, I want to make sure that, that they are professional and they do not misidentify themselves, because you don't want to mislead people, be honest.
It's
right. So I'm not talking about fundraisers, we're on board with it, but just to make sure, going forward, that if they're going to knock on doors, be professional, be honest. And if they don't come, they just don't come. Don't try to scare anyone into making a donation. Just let them know that's part of our concerns.
I think that they've learned their lesson about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they say when they go to the door, but and I believe what she says. It makes me sick when I look at the video of it, because not all of it's there.
Right.
So
but like I said, it's just I guess with any organization, I always striving to get better. And even though I try to do my best every day, there's still some things I could do better.
Absolutely.
And just like this company, they do a great job, but those are a few things they can do better. And we just want to bring it to their attention so they can address it going forward.
You got it.
As you said, we're all not perfect. Citizen comments. Somebody else like to come forward? Ms. Skinner? You get your picture taken again.
Anita Skinner, 797 Highway 18 East. Yes, on Sunday I did go down Highway 11 and I stopped at the new shelter and it's looking great. We can hardly wait till we get the animals in there. A local citizen died recently, just a couple of days ago, and I saw in his obituary that any donations to be made towards Jones County Animal Services, and they gave Jones the county commissioner's address and stuff like that. So I want to know if money donations are made, does it go into the general fund, and what is the money in the general fund used for? Because when I die, that is exactly how I want it to be. But I need to know, where does this money go?
Isn't it, if it's earmarked for specific cause, it has to go to that cause. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think, I know for the animal control project, at least, we've got, that's being paid for in our SPLOST. And so in the, if you pull up SPLOST in the system, it'll have donation for new animal control facility. So it is included with the other SPLOST money, but it's recorded as a donation, and so we can track donations, and it's specific to a particular cause. So I mean, if somebody donates money, and let's say they need some Kuranda beds tomorrow, I mean, can they get that money to spend on those items? Yeah.
Or whatever John.
If it's
thinks is
specified
required
to go to animal services, it would go to the animal services line item for operating items in John's budget. If you specified I wanted it to go to cat houses, then that's what they would buy, cat houses from that donated funds there. Dog houses. I should have said dog houses. Because I know how John is.
I'm about to rule you out of order.
I was getting ready to say,
Commissioners, you tell
it on yourself.
That's all right. Shana was speeding. Y'all remember that? Shana was speeding.
Not to a cat house.
And if all nights for my wife to be in the crowd.
Okay, so it will go to Jones County, directly to Jones County Animal Services. Okay. As you guys know, I belong to a group called JCAS Volunteers, and right now we are trying to raise some money for supplies and stuff at Jones County. And we just, recently spent $250. So I just want to say that I got Krispy Kreme donut certificates here. They have no expiration date.
Feed them to the dog?
No.
Oh,
they're $6. They're $6. They would make great stocking stuffers. And if you went today, it would cost you $8.55 for a dozen donuts. at the store. So I'm going to be in the back selling these if y'all come and see me, okay? And thank you for allowing us to get up here and speak for longer than 3 minutes and not rushing us.
Supposed to be in a minute, but there's
Or
no,
a minute.
They took the second hand off that clock, so I can't keep up with you anymore.
I thank you.
Hey, thank y'all. Anyone else, citizen comments like to come forward? You want some donuts, Miss Debbie?
I'm still thinking about the cat house.
You gonna put that in the paper, right? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. I'm Max Maxwood, 185 Hungerford Road. I want to acknowledge that what I put out there was what happened that day, and you need to read very carefully. Don, I am very happy to know that that is above board, everything there. That makes me feel really well. And I mean, I believe that working with the city and council, there is a lot more room, and as Sam said, we can get a lot further working together. And with that being said, there has been times when offers have been made that haven't been reciprocated or acknowledged, and then there's been a parallel path taken. Not very efficient, but it's what happened. I'll offer next year, we'll get out and help you raise money. Being above board, that's great. I know in the past there's been questionable things, but that was prior in years past before Don was at the helm. And Don can't control something that he hadn't at the helm. So, I mean, I acknowledge that, and I know that the stations, they raise money, and as I acknowledged, that's a very valuable thing. I support it. I go and buy plates, and I think everybody else should too, because it's directly back into the community. I mean, the closer you can sweep to your door, the better off you are. You have less loss that way. But I wanted to acknowledge that it wasn't to discredit Don. It was, frustration, because I've had some dealings with them in the past, and I've communicated with Don with that, and it's outside of his control because he's not at the helm of that company. But going forward, I think that being open, communication, I ought to be able to pick up the phone and go, hey, Don, and he ought to be able to pick up the phone and go to me. I shouldn't have to do an open records request to get a piece of paper for our ISO. ISO benefits everybody. I mean, it ought to be an automatic thing. We ought to exchange that stuff. Me send them to you, you send them to me. Everybody benefits. It works better as a well-oiled machine. That necessarily hasn't been the case. And that does damage relationships on both ends. But, and I hope that we can work on improving that. But I wanted to at least get up here and acknowledge that, that I commit for us in the city and our personnel to get out and work together with Don to raise that. And I think that will be better. I believe that Anita said that it'll be better next year. And I think it will be. And I think working together and being unified on that message will be better. But I think that openness, being more open than we have in the past, is a big portion of that. And that's not just on fundraising, that's on training, that's on working together on calls, and everything else. And I hope that the volunteers back in the back agree with that. I don't know, I can't speak for them, but I sure hope that that's the case. Because I know that when we're at meetings, and there's two members of mine back there, if we go on a call and somebody screwed up, and this could have been better, it's not, the county was, it's been that way in the past, I'll admit it. And I don't put up with it. And I think that Keith or John Wood I take pointing out entities as a acceptable conversation piece? No? Because it's not productive. It's not productive at all. We take it, an issue, and we try to point out as a learning experience, not who did it. I don't care. Just not make it a pattern and keep doing it again. And I don't know. I know that I'm made out to be something I'm not, and that's disconcerting. I try to be objective with what I do and my recommendations and how I run things. I try not to be subjective. But if I can ever be of assistance to anybody here, city, county, commission, fire department, EMA, Don knows my number. And
Do you have Don?
Sir?
Do you have Don?
Absolutely I do. Absolutely I do. And I can't control just like you can't control what's said at people's doors. So, but I think that working together we can do better.
We're good.
Anyway,
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good evening and a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you too.
I think we've addressed this issue enough to, I think everybody feels comfortable to go forward. Is there any citizens that'd like to come forward with something other than the issue at hand? I think it'll be appropriate, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir. We got an executive session.
If none, we need to have a motion adjourned to go into executive session for personnel and land acquisition.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it.
If they give it away, we'll take it.
Davey.
Please have mercy on me.
No, this is what he does.